I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. My name is Paul. I'm Chief Business Officer at Monaco Market and CollectCoin. Nick will be joining me today. He's our Chief Product Officer, handles all of the beautiful visuals that you see, makes everything look so great and function so great. We have been working diligently these last few months, despite the fact that we are in this kind of bear market now. The market is not as bullish as it was last November or December. We're still really excited about what we're building, and we're still marching forward. So during this time, it's given us the ability to take a lot of the feedback from our beta participants and just kind of work on the features, fix some bugs, and even expand what we thought the Monaco Market MVP was going to look like based on a lot of that feedback. As we're adding more and more items, you guys can kind of see what the experience would generally be like. If you hadn't had a moment yet, I would encourage you to take a look at the demo that we posted yesterday. The post should be pinned. If not, maybe one of the moderators could link it in the chat right now so that some individuals can take a look. And in the description, when this is posted on YouTube, we'll also make sure to include a link so everyone can kind of see what the current state of the application is. Just know that what you're seeing isn't even all of the current features that we have built. Those are just the ones that we've pushed for beta testing. So there are a lot of things that are going on. I was taking into consideration testing from buyers, but we're also trying to get additional feedback from other folks as well. So we've reached out to a number of the folks that inquired about the beta testing before, but since that time, we've relaunched the token. We've got new people in the community. So we will be resoliciting for new beta participants. And this time, maybe with some qualifiers. For example, we're looking for any, maybe power sellers across various platforms that may want to test the application to give us some feedback. Maybe there are some features that we are not including just yet that are really necessary, or maybe we need to rethink kind of how certain things are done. But I think we've done a pretty good job thus far. But again, we welcome the feedback. We are building this based on the feedback of the community. What people are saying about the user-friendly nature of it, as well as a bunch of other changes. So, with that, Nick, maybe you could highlight some of the changes that we're going to be doing.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. So on top of the application, which is what Paul's talking about, the actual product, obviously, as you guys know, especially for all of you who found out about our project, you've most likely first landed on our landing page. As you seen that we have landing pages for our Monaco Market website, for the CollectCoin website, and then we have our parent company for Skylight. Just to let the community know, we're actually going through a pretty big redesign effort across all of the websites. First and foremost, the Monaco Market marketing website. So that's going to entail a far more enhanced, kind of a comprehensive storytelling content around what we do, what we offer, what it's like to be a dealer, to sell with us, and just far more context and information about that process, and information about how to work with us and all the value points and stuff like that. Just because our current landing pages, while they've served us well up until now, they're very minimal, very bare, as you've seen. And the constant feedback that we've received is, I want to learn more, or how do you do this, or how do I get more information about that? And so we're really going to build upon our branding and our web design and all of our marketing sites, and they're going to essentially be revamped into full-on comprehensive corporate websites for our organization. So I think everybody in the community will be very pleased with our branding as a whole. So when people land on our, as soon as you go on monacomarket.com or .co, you're going to see far more information about our project, what we're doing, about our team, so much more detail about everything that we're doing. So I think that's going to be really critical. And then you'll be able to literally click on a call to action at the top of the site, which will take you directly to our marketplace. So we'll obviously make it very clear and simple for people to navigate into our app, from the marketing sites. So so that's going on in the background as well. We're going through a big redesign effort, which is going to really kind of help build our organization to kind of that next level. I don't know, Paul, if anything else you can add to that.
Absolutely. There has been some minor criticism about, oh, you guys should add this or add that. And the truth is, we've taken a lot of that feedback and just realized that, again, we're launching this comprehensive marketplace. And even though it's going to be our MVP, we want to make sure that the story of what Monaco Market is, what does CollectCoin, what is the purpose of it? What does Skylight stand for? Really expound upon the story so that new individuals that haven't been with us for a year, that haven't heard us in these AMAs or read through our white paper time and again, that they're able to easily understand what it is that you can do on the Monaco market now, and also what we intend to do in the future. So we're very excited. We're actively working on that in terms of design and development. Everything's kind of working in tandem right now. So this is in a way for us to get this done faster. Many questions have been asked about, like, when are we going to launch the marketplace? The truth is, the best that we can do right now is kind of educate everybody about where we're at and give you guys a pretty clear idea, because it's not just building the marketplace and then poof, you launch. There's a bunch of things that also need to happen. So once the development is completed, we are pretty close to starting to do some security testing, and then obviously auditing of the market contracts, the staking contracts, making sure everything is good there. Our aim in taking this very deliberate approach is to make sure that when we do launch, there's not going to be any issues. We're not going to have a hack. We're not going to have a problem. There's not going to be downtime. We're doing everything in advance to prepare so that we don't have to be reactive as a consequence of something happening. Again, that's why I thank everyone so much for their patience and really try to let you guys know that we are very, very far along with what we're trying to do, but there are still a few things left that really will take us to that next level for Monaco Market to be this really big thing that we aspire to be. With that said, we are formalizing some of our partnerships with some of the sellers. We'll be able to release some of that soon. We may do them in batches. In a lot of those conversations, we've learned that there are some sellers that have a lot of crypto acumen, some that kind of have a little bit, and some that have none. And the reality is, a lot of times these sellers that have those items that we really want to offer have little to no crypto acumen. So the onboarding process it's been a little bit of a process, but we're trying to build tools to make things as simply as possible. For example, I met a watch seller at an event where they had a booth and they were selling things, and I just started talking to them because they had exactly the kind of items we wanted. And I asked them if they were willing to accept crypto as a payment. And a lot of these guys are really focused on the settlement. They want to know, how can I get the money in my bank? Because I'm buying inventory with cash, so I need cash to do so. So we've been working with a couple different on-ramp, off-ramp partners, really expounding upon this. We have one that we're in pretty late stages with right now that can facilitate the purchase of BNB and BUSD, and then in the future it will be CollectCoin, which has actually led us further into some of these conversations where they've expressed to us that for us to be a currency that can be purchased directly with these on-ramp partners, will have to be part of a centralized exchange. Now, some of you guys in the chat talked about how we're on Bilaxy. We didn't do anything for that. This is just them finding out about our project, being really interested, seeing that we have potential for high volume, and they want those fees. And I knew this would happen. With that said, we are in conversation with some centralized exchanges, for both our ability to get CLCT purchased directly from an on-ramp, as well as we've been approached by some institutional investors. And while I cannot disclose too much about this, there is some significant interest and investment in the platform that I didn't expect to happen this early, to be candid with everyone. But again, we're focused on building the application, building the ecosystem, and really proving ourselves, and then we'll go get money. But it seems like there are some interested parties that have really large checkbooks. My God. And we are excited to really kind of pursue these conversations, but only if the terms are appropriate, because again, we are still so early, and it would not behoove us to take a whole bunch of money for a significant amount of whatever it is that they're asking for, when we know if we time this properly, maybe we could have some better terms. That's not going to, obviously push away potential investors, but it's just kind of a way that we're going about thinking. So again, while I can't reveal too much details, as I'm able to, I definitely will, let everybody know. We'll make some announcements about who these, investment partners are, who, all of the partners are. Like one thing that you guys will see if you look at the beta video is we talk a little bit about like authentication. With trading cards, as an example, only PSA and Beckett cards. There may be one other company that we're vetting right now in terms of their ability to grade the cards, but it's really working with like industry leading professionals when it comes to the authentication to give confidence to our users that, these are the items that you want to buy. They're exactly what we say they are. And if you decide that you want to redeem it, you're going to get what you pay for. So, those things are very actively in process. Yeah, and we actually expect there to be other exchanges that may list our token. There was one exchange that when we started talking wanted a $60,000 fee. The fee went to 30. Recently it was 10. And then, I'm pretty sure it's only a matter of time until, look, these guys want the fees from the volume. That's what it's all about. This isn't them being altruistic. There's a give and take here. So we want to partner with the right folks to make sure that people all over the world can access CollectCoin, that there's appropriate liquidity in the token itself across various platforms, exchanges. And we aim to be on a fairly well-known centralized exchange. Look, we're not going to start on Binance or something like that, but it will be something that you've heard of. And there's even a possibility that maybe more than one, because some of these offers are pretty good. They offer additional marketing. They can help with be a part of our go-to-market strategy. So in the chat, I have also noticed that a bunch of people are asking about marketing initiatives, and even some people coming in the chat and saying they want to do videos about us or something like that. We are talking to those folks. We're strategizing what the go-to-market strategy is going to be. That's going to be essentially the moment that development has stopped or is completed for the MVP and the testing starts. We're going to be announcing that. We'll be keeping everybody aware of what's going on, starting some YouTube campaigns, some other digital marketing, just maybe some influencer marketing as well. Doing a lot of what we've done in the past, but taking a lot of what we've learned so far and using that knowledge to really execute a cost-effective strategy, because that's another thing. What we were paying in October, November, December, it is vastly different than what people were asking for in January, February, March. And here we are now in July, where I'll tell you that a lot of these marketing rates have come down because people are coming back down to earth. Bitcoin, the market as a whole has dropped over 50%. You can't charge more than you did back last year. So there will be a period of time where we're negotiating and making sure that everything is set up. But just know that when we're going to launch this marketplace, there's going to be so many things that have already been strategized and put into place so that week over week, you're going to see more people joining the Telegram, following us on Twitter, and joining our Discord. So on that note, we're going to be having some initiatives specifically to kind of drive people places. One of the first ones is going to be a Discord initiative where we're going to have a contest every week. The rules and the submissions may be a little bit different, but the way to submit it will be through Discord. And again, the aim is to get all of our folks that are here on Telegram, these 5,000 people, the over 5,000 people on Twitter, to start joining the Discord a little bit more. I'm on there from time to time, and it's pretty calm. It's pretty cool. You know, we welcome everyone. It's a little bit easier to be organized because we have all the different language channels as well. So check it out. And again, we will be releasing more information about those contests and the other community initiatives soon. But for now, just know that we are trying to be very deliberate and plan a lot of things in conjunction with a lot of the development that's going on. So I would ask if anyone has any questions, or Nick, is there anything that I may have missed so far?
No, good so far.
Okay, so with that said, I am going to. Is there anyone that has any questions? They could raise their hand.
Also, real quick, do you think it might be appropriate if, for the folks who haven't seen our demo yet, we could play that, or
the
video, or we could just make sure people have the link?
I mean, yeah, I can't do it because I'm doing this from my phone. I have, for whatever reason, my computer just does not let me do these Telegram AMAs. But I would welcome everyone to check it out on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, we have just to highlight. Yeah, there's a demo that we just pushed this week that Paul recorded, and it's extremely thorough. So if any of you guys are wondering what we're talking about in regards to the application, it's all in the demo. And it's very up to date, and I think it's going to give you guys a pretty good idea of where we're at with everything. So check out our YouTube channel if you're curious.
I've been hearing.
Yeah, you know, it went live 15 hours ago, and we've already got a couple hundred people that have viewed it. Really happy about that. But again, that'll give you a pretty clear idea of kind of what we've been building, what it looks like right now. And again, this is not the final product. What you see there is just, it's where we're at right now. But there's still a lot of active changes, even some of the wording, the spacing, how things look, how things are presented. There's still a lot of like changes. So just know that even though what you see here, it's the result of a lot of back and forth. You try things, we redesign, we re-implement. You know, it's not so simple when we're trying to build something really a cut above the competitors. You know, I never shy away from taking a look at who our competitors are and what they're doing. And our objective is on day one to do something that a lot of the other guys haven't, which is to really provide a robust experience to make sure that everything is on chain. There's a native redemption feature. And again, we have a native token that can be incentivized. So the staking will be available. And on that note, actually, so we've told you guys before how we were trying to do a Pancakeswap farm. I have emailed them 2 times, actually messaged them again. I messaged them again after that. They have never responded to us in our applications. So FYI, we are currently talking to a couple other Binance chain, BNB chain farm options, and to see, you know, what would be the best option. If there's one that you guys prefer, that you like for any reason at all, I would love to hear which ones you like and why. I know there's several of them. There's a big list of targets that we're going after. We tried really aggressively to get Pancakeswap, but again, I don't understand why they don't respond to the forums or the emails, or the people in their Telegram group are not particularly helpful. So we're going to move on from that. Again, we have over 2,000 holders that have tokens. And I want to incentivize you guys and reward you for sticking with us, you know. So again, that is absolutely still something that we're looking to do. We should have that up soon. I'll give you guys some more updates about that in the coming days, week. You know, let's see how long it takes for these guys. But again, that's still very much part of something we're trying to do. And just know the staking on the marketplace will be available, like in terms of splitting the fees. That's a day one thing, day one of the MVP. And you can even see it in the demo. I paid fees for an item, and then you see a little pop-up that shows that I got the reward. So these features are built in, they're working, they're styled, they're pretty much ready to go. I mean, Nick has done a phenomenal job at making sure everything looks beautifully, and Reiner and the development team, they've done a great job of implementing this. So we're really, really excited. We don't foresee really a lot of issues with the security. We've taken some steps in advance to kind of change how we've done certain things. So we brought on additional developers. When Coinbase actually, when they unfortunately laid off a bunch of people, we were able to siphon some talent from them. So our team is growing, and that's another reason why we want to do this bigger, better site, because we can show the team. It's not just myself and Nick and Reiner. There's a team of moderators that really help with the community stuff. We have, our marketing lead, Julia. There's just so many people behind the scenes that are doing great work, and they're largely unheralded. And while many of them don't really care about the attention, I think that they deserve to at least to be appreciated for the efforts that they put in, because everyone here knows this has not been easy. This has been a hard road, and it's just beginning. So just know that, again, like I've always said, we are trying to build something really big here. And when you guys see the updated website, the final MVP product, which again, once that's finished, we're going to be advancing and building more features. On the roadmap, I talk about Monaco Market 2.0. That's going to be something way more robust, a lot more features, a lot more things. So development is something constant with us. We don't just build and then, okay, that's it. We're constantly pushing, constantly developing new things, new features, thinking about what can we do to add more utilization for one CollectCoin, drive volume on the Monaco market, and make sure that we have things that you guys want. So it doesn't look like there is a lot of questions in the chat. I'm going to see if there's anyone raising their hand. Not yet. I see a lot of familiar faces. I'm very happy to see that, and I'm hoping that there's some more faces that are watching us on YouTube. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have in the comments. We read those very regularly. And just know that, again, we are actively building, and we are trying to launch something that is really meaningful, chain agnostic. And that's also something else, by the way. There's a lot of changes that are happening on the Ethereum network that we're all paying attention to see where they go. But seeing the kind of active role that Binance is taking in trying to get more onboarding, getting more people aware of it, it's something that we're very excited to kind of see how we, as a project, can work with Binance to kind of continue to perpetuate what it is that we're trying to build. There's no other project on the BNB chain that's doing this. The only other projects that I would say even kind of compare to what we're doing, I think there's Chronicle. They do it with OpenSea is their marketplace, and they're just doing trading cards. And then there is 4K that is on Ethereum as well. But they don't, I was looking at their site this morning. They have 92 items for sale. Oh, rather, they have 92 items in their ecosystem, and I think only 18 or 19 of them are for sale. And there's no native redemption feature. I think there is possibly a way where you email them. Again, if you go through the demo, you'll see that it's already built. We've partnered with Shippo. I guess I can release that information today. They will be our shipping provider for all the redemptions. They validate the addresses to make sure that when you submit an address to us, it's actually a real address. Again, this is international, so you can send any address around the world as long as it's a real address that is verifiable, and that UPS and FedEx can reach you. Those are the two shipping partners or shipping service providers that we're using initially. Then we'll be sending it to them. So let's see, any other questions? How much are the redemption fees? Excellent question. So redemption fees, essentially, this is our rationale for the redemption fees. If you take something out of the marketplace, it's going to cost something to put it back into the marketplace. So generally speaking, what the redemption fees will be indicative of is what does it cost for the item, for a new similar item to come back into the ecosystem. So what is that? That's the cost of third-party authentication, maybe a little bit of a cost of vaulting. We are taking strides right now to potentially take control of the vaulting, for us to be the vaulting partner. When we were doing this before, we were trying to get things up kind of quickly, and having had more time talking to the sellers, looking at the climate, and also talking to some new people that can help facilitate this. Some logistics people that they're already doing fulfillment for other sellers, and for what we're doing, it's kind of more high security. But there are some folks that we're talking to where there may be a nominal cost, but again, it won't be significant. Everything will be securely stored, insured, and ready for you. So I would say the redemption fees, it really depends on the item. Okay, so redeeming a trading card is probably going to be fairly inexpensive because the verification process, the storage, everything is it's really cheap. The shipping fee, it's all really cheap. But let's say something big. Let's say a painting, as an example, even a 3 by 3, 3 foot by 36 by 36, 24 by 36 painting. It's a little larger. The storage requirements are a little bit different. So it'll vary based on the category, and then obviously by the shipping. Because another thing to consider is if we're shipping it to somewhere and there's like a VAT or something like that, a value-added tax. Well, guess what? You'll pay the redemption fee to us because we'll be shipping and insuring and doing everything. But when you go to collect that item, there may be a value-added tax. That is something to also consider. There's some things like that. Nobody can circumvent them. The only way that you can is literally by trading without the physical item. So our hope is that, again, we're trying to keep it as economically as possible. All redemption fees are paid in CollectCoin, just like the transaction fees are paid in CollectCoin. The redemption fees will not be split between the individuals in the staking pool, mainly because we're trying to keep those fees as low as possible. And again, like going through the MVP, we're going to get a greater sense of what's getting redeemed, what's getting pulled out of the ecosystem. I personally think a lot of things are going to get redeemed when we first launch because people are going to want to buy items, But over time, the people that want things are probably going to have them, and then it's going to be more about the trading. So for us, it's trying to keep those costs as low as possible. I think in the example, in the demo, I was doing a card, a signed Beatles postcard, and the redemption fee when I did it was something like $60. But again, I think it was at that time it was around that price. But again, it constantly changes based on the whatever the CollectCoin fee, or whatever the CollectCoin price is. We saw there was a bit of a jump the last couple of days. I think that might be because of this announcement and just letting everybody know that we're not a dead project. I promise you, there's still a lot of things going on. And again, at any time, if anyone has any questions, they're always able to come and ask them in the chat. You can tag me. A lot of people do tag me. And then I try to get through it as much as I can. It's definitely, I still get a lot of DMs from everyone, and I try to answer them as much as I can. But again, if you can't reach me, can't reach Nick, reach out to one of the moderators. They're always here trying to be as helpful as possible. I am you. Thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate it. And by the way, Mark, you're doing a phenomenal job at answering. When is the beta testing? So the beta testing is going on right now. And yes, so what we're going to be doing is I'll probably create a new forum in the next day with qualifiers. Like if you want to be a new beta tester, you can join, but we're looking for specific folks. Either you're a big buyer on some of these other platforms, like let's say StockX, Tradesy, eBay, Poshmark, one of those guys, Chrono24, whatever. If you've been a seller on any of these existing marketplaces, we want your feedback about our MVP. Because look, eventually we're going to build something really robust with every feature you can imagine, more features than a lot of these other guys have currently, because we're trying to push the boundaries. But we still need to make sure that when we launch the MVP, it has everything that people need, and not just things that we think that we would like for people to have. Because also we want to launch this in kind of a reasonable time frame. Every time you add a new feature, every time you want to add, expound upon something that already exists, it adds development time, and then testing and everything of the sort. So again, we're not trying to push back the development much more than it already has, but we want to launch a quality product. Is the app built already? So if you take a look at our YouTube channel, you'll see that the application is largely built. Everything is on chain. So everything's on the Binance Smart Chain testnet right now. And we've been doing beta testing with the application for the last several months, to be honest with you guys. Like, even when it was just some of the buying experience, the back end wasn't really built out the way that it is now. If you compare the demos, there are some big changes that you can see, and there's some changes you can't really see, but that's because, again, the back end, the redemption processes, and again, making sure everything is on chain, changing nodes. There's the testnet. It's good, but it'll be better when we're on the mainnet. So you'll see that sometimes some things are taking a little bit of time to complete transactions. Again, it's just because it's the testnet, and our expectation is on the mainnet that everything's going to work way better. But yeah, I would say the app is very, very well built. There's some like little fine tuning things and maybe a couple extra features we're going to be adding, but it's pretty built at this point. Yeah, fractionalization is trending. That's absolutely something on our roadmap. It's actually one of the things that some of the sellers have been asking about, because some sellers, they want to sell parts of it, or they want to figure out just new ways to sell and move inventory, and they're looking at fractionalization. How can I get capital for this item? Fractionalization is on our roadmap, but it will not be part of our MVP. To build kind of a system where you can buy fractionalized parts, sell them. It's almost like building a sub marketplace on top of each individual item. So it's definitely something that we're going to work through, and I'm very excited to do so. But it may not come right away. And there may be some other things, like, for example, instead of fractionalizing just one item, what if we had a pool of like one bestseller in every category, or maybe we had some high risk or some low risk, or there's like risk profiles that you can create respective of the items with diversification. Then maybe you can you can invest your CollectCoin into that. So maybe you don't have to take that higher risk profile of just fractionalizing one thing. What if you bought a share or a piece of a pool, So there are things like that we're working on as well, but those are still months away, but we're excited to talk about them and kind of conceptualize them, but there's still a little bit of development that needs to happen.
Yeah, and T-Crypt had asked if there's a mobile app. So all along, as we've built the development of the entire app, everything is responsive friendly. So which means whether you're on your tablet or your mobile device on your phone, the app is going to work beautifully. So it's actually been one of the big key focuses for me personally, is to make sure that it does work on the mobile device, that you can navigate through it, you can place a bid or make a purchase and whatnot. So yes, it's definitely mobile friendly, but a native app, that's a different story. That's not going to be something in our focus anytime soon, as it's really not needed for what we're doing, at least at this point.
Yeah, more than likely, if you're on your phone and you're navigating to the Monaco market, you're going to connect through, let's say, your MetaMask mobile browser. So, we're trying to be mindful of what native processes are. I don't know that, like, look, you're not going to be able to access or shop with your Chrome browser, but that's because you need to connect your wallet. So we're working with these like the MetaMask browser in mind, at least to start, to make sure that things operate properly, and also to make sure that we're not overbuilding. At this stage, it's about making sure that we're building the best product, uh, building all the features that we think we need without having to look. We've been approached by other wallets. Like there was a wallet company that approached us about partnering, and they wanted us to essentially prioritize the functionality of a Monaco market on their wallet. And while, I'm happy to make sure that it's compatible, we're going to go for the biggest fish. And that seems to be like MetaMask, Trust Wallet. So, you know, we're happy to work on in integration with other wallets, but we're going to go after the ones that everyone kind of has already because it makes the most sense. Um, uh, the centralized exchange, yeah, was Bilaxy. Again, we never told them or had any agreement. We didn't pay them anything. I suspect some of those large purchases that we saw yesterday may have been them buying in, so they can get some liquidity. Um, yeah, Bilaxy. I mean, they're not a giant exchange. They probably do like $5.5 million a day in volume. It's not huge. They have somewhere around 150 or 200 tokens. Um, but hey, if nothing else, it's an indicator that people are finding out about us. Exchanges are willing to take the risk of acquiring our token. Granted, they probably acquired it at the very bottom, but they see what we see, and we're really excited about that. Um,
Thank you for your compliment. We feel the same way about you guys.
yeah, absolutely.
Positive energy all the way around.
Don't see anyone else raising their hand. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. I am you. The positivity is important, especially given a lot of what we've gone through. So we are we're just really excited because we can finally start to see kind of like the finish line, like what this is going to look like and that's not even the finish line. That's like, we can finally see the start of the race. That's what it really is. But just having worked for so long, again, from concept, we've been working on this since last February, building the application, the end of last year. So there's just been so much that we've been working on and just really trying to make sure that we have a good strategy for the launch, and that we can just make sure that everybody that should know about this does know about it. We're going to be sponsoring events. We'll be having some IRL events as well as some other events as we get closer to launch. We're looking at the calendar to see kind of what conferences are going on around that time, to see how can we increase our visibility, especially to the crypto people that go to these events, that I've met. They're very encouraging. It definitely indicates to me that, look, people aren't really doing a lot of these generative 10,000 unit NFT projects anymore. You've got to build something better. So maybe last year was the time to do those kinds of projects. I think this year is going to be the time, and moving forward, for projects like us.
Great. Definitely take a look at our demo, share it with colleagues or your community that might be interested. That is essentially what we're focused on launching. Another thing that we highlighted was just the effort of the redesign of our landing pages and websites. So that's taking in effect right now. So there's a lot going on in the background.
Absolutely. And again, feel free to ask whatever questions you have on Telegram. You can send us messages on Twitter. You can, wherever, here in the comments on YouTube, ask questions. We welcome the feedback. The feedback is so critical because to some degree, it sometimes feels like you're building in this box, and we have an idea of what we want, but we want to hear from who our users are going to be. What do you guys think? Our opinions help to shape what we're doing, but your opinions will to ultimately shape what we ultimately build. So please, be vocal. be critical. We can take it. It's not a big deal. We're just happy to just hear what people are saying about what it is that we're working on and just get some honest feedback, because through that feedback, we'll be able to build the best possible product.
Absolutely, including the current flooding that's going on the chat.
Yeah, and look, if you and again, it's still very early. Like, I want everyone to recognize as well that if if like the price of CollectCoin is the price that it is, but just know that as we get closer to launch and there's a real use for the token, there's a reasonable expectation that, hey, the price will change, in one direction, I think, over the other. I don't like to speculate on pricing, but I just try to create as much use case as possible, to drive utilization, drive demand, and then we see what the outcome of that is.
Okay.
Hey guys, can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Great.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey man, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Happy to hear another voice asking questions.
So it's good to see that you guys got the demo out. I'm happy about that. I remember last time we were talking about how you guys were holding off on doing like promotions and stuff like that because of the market and stuff. Is this still the plan? Or are you guys just gonna put your head down and keep working on the market and then hold off on the promotions and paying for stuff like that for now?
So yes and no, right? So we are definitely willing to do cost-effective marketing for the purpose of expanding the overall reach of like people knowing about Monaco Market. But the challenge is that, like, there's some things we can do that, oh, maybe some people will buy the token and then it just dumps afterward. With all the marketing that we're doing right now, it's all like strategy for the go-to-market. So once we're at a certain point in development where we know, all right, we're very close to getting the marketplace launched, that's when a lot of the bigger marketing is going to start. Whether that's digital advertising, influencer marketing, social media marketing. We've already been in touch with both some of our old influencer partners as well as some new ones, some larger channels larger than we've dealt with in the past. And some of those are just accessible now because the market is so shaky that, look, the prices of a lot of the marketing, they went up so high because people were just, look, some of these influencers were shilling anything. And it was just like, oh, if you pay me $5,000, I'll say whatever you want, and as a result, there's a lot of low quality projects that have emerged, but in this market now, there's not a lot of new money. It's hard to get people to come into your project when you have nothing. So a lot of these nothing coins are essentially not kind of popping up. It's caused a lower demand in some of these marketing initiatives. So the pricing has come considerably down. So again, a lot of what we're doing now is strategy, because once it starts and we're on the go-to-market strategy, it's going to be everything leading up to the launch and then weeks after that as well. Because just because we launched doesn't mean it's over. We're going to have to publicize. We have some special items that are going to be on the marketplaces, like really unique. Now, we're also going to have some regular stuff that, certain watches and trading cards that everybody knows, but they have reasonable demand. But there will be a couple items that are super rare, maybe some signed memorabilia that's like one of a kind in terms of the way that the item is. And also when we launch, there are some things we may also do, like we flirted with the idea of offering a Lambo for sale, but you'd have to redeem it because the person that wants to sell this doesn't want to store it, and then like having a delayed transfer of title and all this stuff. Some of this, like having gone through people in the industry, it's there's certain verticals require certain processes, and a car doesn't fit into the mold right now. But again, we have some excited people that kind of want to do it, and I think some of this could be really attractive in generating some attention, getting people talking about us, which, free press is always better, than having to pay everyone. We'll also be doing some additional press releases, both in like the regular news world as well as in the crypto world. So again, it's about making sure the word goes out, as much as possible. But we're not doing anything major right now.
I get you. Yeah, I agree with you too about the nothing coins disappearing, and the CollectCoin obviously has held up really well because we are going to be launching the Monaco Market, and it's
Yeah.
good. It's good to hear that you guys are going to have products on launch. Like, is it going to be like full blown, like ready to go? Like, there's going to be like hundreds of products for sale. Like when it launches, like people are going to be using it. And I also have a question too. Do you think that like we are going to be able to get all these people who are into buying these luxury items, we're going to be able to get them to like stop using whatever else they're using and come to use like even if they have to learn how to use like MetaMask and stuff like that, like, or will it be better to just like reach to the crypto audience who already knows how to use that stuff?
Great question. So let me answer your second question first, just because it's more on my mind. I would say initially it's going to be crypto people. Like one of the things that I had a lot of conversations with was that during like DeFi summer last year, what can you do? Like, okay, I put $10,000 online. I send it to Coinbase. I buy some coins, and then I'm trading. I'm buying. I'm holding. I'm buying some NFTs, and then I'm selling those NFTs. And it's just like this exercise of just buying and selling, and you have like a number on a screen that's going up, but you don't really have anything of your own. And then also, we see the fragility in the markets themselves that, look, it can correct 50, 60, 70%. And then you're just left there like, oh, well, I traded my way from one BNB to 1,000 BNB, but 1,000 BNB is now worth what 400 BNB was worth like a couple months ago. So, like, there are all these factors, but I would say initially it's going to be the crypto people, but there are certain products that we are potentially going to be marketing more toward the normal folks. For example, when we start doing the collateralized lending, it'll initially just be on items that are part of the ecosystem. But I think one way to expand the Monaco market in general is to solicit people in real life that have items that want to get issued a collateralized loan. And maybe, look, those loan rates are crazy. We're talking 20, 30%, a collateralized loan. These are exotic items, and there is potentially some downside, and you absorb that downside risk by not issuing like 100% LTVs. We're probably going to do like a 50% LTV, loan to value. That way, if it does correct a little bit, that you don't get liquidated. Now, with that said, ultimately, I do want to market to the normal folks and, hope that more people are adopting. But I think that it's appropriate and important that we do the low-hanging fruit first, that we go after people that already have crypto acumen, that already want to buy things. Maybe they're skittish to buy certain items from certain sellers because they don't know them. Now, I will admit, even e-commerce in crypto has evolved a great deal these last 6 months, but there's still a lot of people that are scared to spend their crypto. There aren't really companies that are doing this. There's no native redemption process. A lot of them ask you for a lot of information. We're trying to be of the mind of what crypto is all about, that you should be able to maintain your privacy. You should be able to acquire these things without having to, dox yourself all the way. Obviously, we're going to be in line with compliance of whatever the compliance is in the BVI, and potentially respective of any other rules that come about thereafter that govern what we're doing. But in the meantime, we're trying to make it as user-friendly and as easy for the users as possible, and then go about the regulations. The first question you asked me before, I don't recall. Could you say that again, please?
I don't even recall myself anymore because I was listening so much to your answer. But
Yeah,
thank you for your answer. It was really good.
of course. If it comes to me, I'm happy to answer it. And just know that so Planet
I think it
Finance.
was about the items. It was the items. If it was gonna launch with like hundreds of items
Oh,
ready to go.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great question. So this is something there was a little bit of back and forth within our team about this, because we could launch with a lot of items. Just so that you guys know, I'm letting you know straight up, we could launch with a lot of items. The challenge with launching with a lot of items is that you have to deal with all of those items, and we have to deal with what if something breaks or goes wrong. It could be really big. So to be honest with you guys, we will not be launching with day one. We're not going to have 10,000 items, okay? But there will be a day where there will be 10,000 items. It's about one. We'll launch with collections in each category, and then we'll be adding more and more and more items. Okay, so that's really the kind of strategies that we're going to go about this, where we launch with some items and then continually add, especially as items get sold. And look, I think we'll encounter situations like what I believe is happening with 4K. People go into the platform, they see something they like, they buy it. That's it. The item is bought. It's not, available for sale anymore. It's not getting redeemed. It's just there. So I am very, very mindful of that. And I'm obviously paying attention to what's happening with any of our competitors, how user behavior kind of goes about. But look, on day one, we're not going to have 5 items. Like I would like to launch the marketplace with, again, several items in each category. And then every week, every day, eventually, we're adding items, we're adding sellers, we're finding ways to push product, whether it's we have this great new partner that can offer these great new items, or we have this one of a kind item that you want to take a look at. Because, whether, some of the guys that we talk to, they want to do precious stones. That's not one of the verticals that we've talked to, but I meet these guys and then they like what we're doing, and
I would say,
I'm sorry.
oh, sorry, I was just going to add to why I think we need to be a little careful about the amount of inventory in our initial launch. Is not just on the dealer side of selling all the items, but we want to make sure we have a good go-to-market strategy so we have the right eyeballs on our items as well from the get-go. Just having enough traffic, enough interest, awareness, proper marketing campaigns to drive people to our items. Maybe we have particular promotions or interesting marketing initiatives for some of our bigger ticket items. So it's kind of a balancing act, right? We want to make sure that it's really, you probably hear this a lot, but it really is true, especially for kind of like an MVP or like our first launch, which is quality over quantity is always going to be kind of the driving factor to how we're thinking about our launch, right? Like Paul said, sure, in theory, we could launch with 500 or 1,000 items, but is that really going to actually help our business from the get-go? Not necessarily.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to prioritize the items and give the items the attention that they deserve. If you launch on day one with, let's say, all of the items we could, then, again, a lot of this is just so that when we launch the MVP, we make sure everything is cool, and then we grow it and grow it and grow it. But it's not going to be like, oh, one item a day, one item a week. We're really trying to grow this a lot, and also make sure that we have options for all different, pricing levels, whether it's a $200 trading card or like a $200,000 car, it's kind of crazy. So we want to make sure that there's ultimately great investment options, like this is going to be a solid thing for you to add to your portfolio. And despite everything that's happening, corrections in all the categories that we're dealing with, there are still some really solid items that, if you have some exposure to, you're not going to have the same kind of effect on your portfolio as some of the tokens or other NFTs that I'm sure are in your portfolio. Okay. So
Thank you.
yeah. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Again, thank you so much for your patience, and just know that there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, more than we really anticipated at this time, with some of the larger partnerships that we're talking to. But we're excited. We're very excited about this. It just spurs us on, and just know that, when we launch the Monaco Market, it will be a cut above. Thank you, guys.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Okay. Bye-bye.